our vote today.
Committee will hold present except for Ron West, who is excused. And is there anything new besides the meeting last night?
I'm sorry, sir, we were trying to figure out our mics. What was your question?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny how people, they're up.
Yeah.
And then they pull them down, and then they put them back up.
It's not
And
right.
then we can't hear because they don't remember to pull them down.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
the
right.
other thing, they're sitting over there instead of coming up to the mic.
Mhm.
But anyways, enough of that editing. I asked if there was anything new that anyone would like to report, excluding last night's meeting.
No, nothing to add.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Well, then,
I think last night's meeting spoke for itself.
it did, yes, yeah. Yes, I thought it was a very interesting meeting. Of course, the first part of the meeting, the budget took much longer than I anticipated. And, but we were finally up. And I was disappointed with the results.
But it is what it is.
It is, yes, yeah. And I was very surprised with a few comments that had misinformation, such as the expenditure. I mean, there isn't, as I reported, our average meeting time for a month is an hour and a half. The utilities in this room exist.
But they do have to pay personnel and it takes time. I understand that issue.
Well, one personnel is on salary. The other personnel it's at 1.5 hours a month. Considering the work that this committee does and should do in the future, it's minimal.
Yeah, I understand that. But anyway, it has been done and I think we need to move forward as a group.
As a group, as this group, we don't exist after 9 days from now.
That's true.
So I'm not prepared or willing to discuss anything that may or may not take place after July 31st. The city has gone on record, public record, as removing itself from this project. They even advised us more than once to go around them. We were advised to form a private foundation for the purposes of operating outside the sunshine law and circumventing the city commission. I was flabbergasted
I
to hear
don't
that.
necessarily agree with that. I think that each commissioner wants the building to be in their possession. I think every one of them wants wants that. They don't want the city to be strapped financially. And we, as a group, were charged with helping how to figure that happen. And I kept reminding them over and over that it fell on deaf ears, that they didn't have to accept it, the property, until we as a group had found the funding to make it work. But they chose not to hear that last night and moved on, and that's their decision. So, we just need to ask ourselves, where do we go from here as a group? We probably should form, if we want to continue to do this work, and we do want this to happen, we don't want that to be a black hole in the middle of the city, then we very likely should form a nonprofit and move forward. But my question is, when we do that, is the city sanctioning us? And if they are, then we follow under the sunshine law. So where do we go from here? That's my question.
Well, as I stated, the sunshine law was never a handicap for us. We were honored to abide by it, and I remember when it was created, and it was good foundation. Not across the board, but there were situations within the state that justified it. So that certainly was not a hindrance. But however, I think that at this time, we need to give the commission time to reflect on their actions. Because the facts are there. If you read the reports, there are REG reports, our reports, our request, and as our earlier statements have been, we don't want to put a financial burden on the city.
That's right.
So I think that, the REG report in its final draft is relatively new. And I think that we need to give them time to study it. We have almost 1,000 pages of reports. And so, again, I don't think we need to give them time. And without the blessing of the city or under their umbrella, it weakens our efforts. There's no question about it.
They made a statement, and you're right. It does need to be studied and absorbed. They said it won't be 1.5 million and it won't be 20 million. So it's somewhere in between. But
Well,
it's not a whole lot over 1.5 million, really.
and the city share doesn't need to be 1.5 million. It's not our intention for it to be that with grants
Well,
and with partners coming in. We do the arithmetic.
that includes the grants.
It doesn't
And it
matter.
would,
Right.
the study that I did said it would take 1.5 million to get those buildings in usable condition.
You're right, John, thanks.
And it might be twice that. I'm
Sure.
not-
Yeah. I understand.
But it
Mr.
won't
Chairman.
be 20 million.
No,
And we as a group would find funding to cover that. And the city would have no financial obligation.
Can I make a comment?
yes, Commissioner.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you. We have spent a year having meetings, being here at 9 o'clock. You guys have all been incredibly generous with your time, volunteering, and I appreciate that. And I know that there are a lot of people that really see that as a sacrifice, and I appreciate it. And I know they do too. I apologize. I'm sorry that I couldn't get a different response, a different outcome last night. I think that timing is not right, I guess, or there's just other forces at work. But I think that the future is we need to all leave here and continue working towards a goal, but not as a group. We can do it individually. I don't think, starting a nonprofit is gonna work because and the problem about going outside the city and coming our own group and then going back to the city is you're circumventing sunshine law, and you can't do that. It's very, very bad. But the answer is the school district can transfer property to a nonprofit, not to a nonprofit, but to a government entity. So we've basically heard last night that the city is not interested. So the other option is finding somebody else, which I think most likely that might be Putnam County. But of course, that puts us in a different position. Without the city in the driver's seat, we'll have no control over what becomes what on that property. It'll be up to the county. We have great representation in the county. Commissioner Newbold is amazing to work with, and I think he will make sure that the community is represented and that we have a say in things. But as far as the city being involved, we've obviously heard that that's not going to happen. So, I just sincerely want to say thank you to all of you. We did an amazing job. What Rick Bowles said last night about the report and all that, really looking over it, that's something to be proud of. We really did a lot of work and we got a lot done. And I think that we should be proud about that. And I think that that's all going to help in the long run as we get this, and turn this property into something else. It's just not under the auspices of the city. So now the city will have to come to be a partner with the county and not have as many options or as much to say or any control over it. And that also means that we're probably going to be losing income from the tax collector's office that'll be moving over there and not have to pay rent anymore. If they move the library over there, that'll cost things a little different. There's all kinds of options that the county can do now that if it's their property. So we just have lost, any semblance of control over it. But hopefully we can still move City Hall there. I think it's still an idea that would work, and I hope that the City Commission maybe at some point will come around to that. This building doesn't really have a future. This is a historic building too, but it's not as, not as desirable or viable.
Well, the layout isn't as.
I know,
efficient.
I've never understood why, our old City Hall worked great when I was a commissioner before. I don't know why we ever changed that, but we owned this building as well. We have a habit of buying stuff that we don't need at times and then, keeping it. But, I can see the future. I can see I can see the goal and the ultimate vision of it all. And I think that we can still work towards that. And I hope that all of you will continue to be advocates for this. And I really appreciate, John, I really appreciate you being here. I know it's taken a lot of your time. And I know I was the one that came to you and said, hey, do you want to help? Without blinking and without a pause, said absolutely. And I really appreciate that because you have been, you've got us very long.
I appreciate you saying that, but I will say this. My hearing is not good. I'm gonna get very improved hearing aids soon. Whether they will help or not, I don't know. But if the county takes over the property, I would not be able to be on the advisory committee because my son is a commissioner. So this would be my last meeting. That's just the way it is. And perhaps I should just resign at this point and move on. I enjoy serving the community. At my age, that's what I do. I do it in as many ways as I possibly can. And my wife is behind me. We're a team. She's always in the background supporting. That's just who we are. And but when you get to be 85 years old, things start happening, So that's where I am.
John, I would recommend you not resign today, but you wait it out to the end of the month when we all expire.
So to speak.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's not,
It will show unity.
All right, that's okay.
inspiring, I don't like that.
I'm not ready.
But please tell Jackie that we appreciate her too. I know
And I have enjoyed the ride. It's been not easy sometimes, disappointing sometimes, but mostly very rewarding. We live in a great town. We're one of two real towns in the county. We need to be proud of that and promote that and let people know who we are as a city. We have some ins and outs, but like every small town, that happens. But we have a good county commission. They all have their heart in the right place. So I'm proud to be a part of this city.
And you should be. I mean, I appreciate that. On all of you. I mean, really, honestly, I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you've been here, and you make me very proud that you guys would sacrifice your time and stuff and your energy. And I mean, I'm a little sad right now listening to John, but I mean, I'm very proud of, all we've done, and I think we've done everything we can, for the city, and we'll move on, I mean, not as a group, but we all can advocate and we all can be involved on our own. And I think that this is gonna happen, I hope, because I don't want that school to fall into disrepair. It's already on the brink of that. And just not having someone in there, not having the air conditioners running in the building one, I mean, all those things add up, and every day that goes by, it gets worse, and I get more and more worried about it. I don't want that to be our legacy on the city commission, that we are the ones that let it turn into a central academy.
Well, once again, I think that it's very important that I'm not prepared to do anything forward at this time until the city commission has time to reflect and decide how they want to go forward. If say we were able to set up a nonprofit, in positioning for grants, government agencies are gonna win out over a nonprofit. And then it was brought up by Commissioner Moore last night that there's some perhaps identity problem with the new Moon Lodge, which surprised me because I sit on the Historic Preservation Board of the city. And we bring it up every meeting.
And
A chairman of Veronica Glover, it's pending, they're working on it.
it's coming as fast as
Obviously,
you can.
if we were approached to assist them, I'm sure that we would consider it and move forward to help them.
I mean, I helped Charles write the grant to make sure we got the money this year. So, I mean, we've all been working.
Well, your report was excellent, that brought it up to date, but
Yeah.
it shows what misinformation is out there, or that people are not fully educating themselves on the exact status. I think before we jump to conclusions, we need to reflect first.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all have passion, believe in this town, its great history, its prospect, especially the school. But we're not the ones at this time that should take the lead.
And unfortunately, I can't believe actually that a year's gone already. I mean, it feels like, but then thinking back, we were in a very different place when we started this. We've come a very long way. But, these things do take time. Like I've always said, government moves at a glacial pace, and two governments together move even slower. I mean, it's unfortunate that we couldn't, get anything done faster, but it doesn't happen fast. And the grant cycles and all that stuff take years. So I think we'll be patient and see if the commission comes around or see if the county goes forward. I just have to say that I'm sincerely thank all of you. It has been a pleasure spending these mornings with you, I don't mind getting up this early anymore, it's great. Rachel still does, but that's,
Something good always comes out of it.
yeah, I mean, I like being here, I like seeing Nancy, and I appreciate it all, and Nancy, both Nancys, I got two Nancys here.
Well, it was exciting because we had two new people from the city join us. And I really appreciate their fresh ideas and their participation. It's been wonderful, thank you. Well, anything else?
I did wanna mention, I'm gonna try, and I need to talk to Derek about this, but the REG, the final report that we got, that I shared, I guess, the link, 2 weeks ago. We're still gonna figure out how to get that up on the website for the city, just so that it's something that's accessible. We just need to make a new page for it, because it's 4 different pieces.
And
Just so that.
does it have the square footage of each room?
Yes, it does. I checked on it. Yeah, as Commissioner DeVito had asked, that final version, yeah, they went in. In fact, I talked to Rick last week when we were in Frontage Beach, because he was at the Preservation on Main Street conference, which I went to, which was really exciting. And actually, he presented several seminars. One of them was 10 redevelopment and adaptive reuse projects that he worked on. And it's really, really neat to see what they can do and what they have done and what are going on all over the state. There's one place in Mariana that there's an old church that was a Baptist church, and it burned down, and there's just the facade of it left. And they are actually going to reinforce it now with steel and then build an event place, and so they're just having the front of this burned down church there to be there forever. And it was just, the pictures of it was so kind of haunting, but it was really beautiful in a way. And the fact that they're saving that and still building it into something else behind it was really kind of exciting. I'm like, well, there's other places in the state where there's some really neat historic preservation and adaptive reuse projects going on. But when I talked to Rick, he did mention that, that final report, he said, you guys got the square footage of that thing. And I looked at it, yeah, they had the square footage of each room in there. So, that report was valuable. When we paid for it and we got our money's worth. We now have plans of the entire building, and I think that they did an amazing job. And he is really enthusiastic still about the project. He keeps talking to me about it. Even during his presentation, he kept looking at me. He's like, right, William, this is what you wanted, what is important. And I'm like, yeah, Rick got it. So yeah, we'll make sure it's on the website, because we paid for it, because it's big files. But it's we'll take care of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak?
Yes, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Good morning. For the record, Danny Miller, 1400 Sunset Drive, Winter Park. To begin on a note of levity, I think the chair said that that was an interesting meeting last night. Excuse me. I'm reminded of an old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. The BRC and the community now knows after last night where we stand. The obvious question is what next? I heard expression from the commission last night that the frustration of the BRC and of others, myself included, they understand that frustration. I was kind of comforted to hear that as I was reflecting on what I might say this morning, because try as I may, my own frustration will perhaps come out in my comments, and so that understanding hopefully will help my comments not be viewed unshared. I think it might be helpful, just for the record, and perhaps for some of y'all that have not been on this issue for 5 years, to share a bit of the history of the vision for preserving and repurposing the historic school. It's not my intent to rehash everything, but just to note a few things. And I will note that my comments are based upon contemporaneous notes that I made to file at the time, follow-up emails that were sent, and that kind of thing. That's an attempt to be absolutely factual, and try not to let my emotion and passion, which you all perhaps come to know well, overwhelm the message. Back in 2021, the issue at the time, I'll remind you, was that the school district had announced plans, they should close the school. And they had announced plans to take a bulldozer to it. And to build a new modern school, picture Pearson Elementary, with about, I think, 3 times the student capacity, and plop it down in the middle of our National Register Historic District. And which, it was the feeling of many at the time. And in the Historical Society, as you may know, led the charge on that, that would be, well, to borrow a word we used last night, a monstrosity in the middle of town. So, with that in mind, on September 16th, 2021, it's almost 4 years ago, the late Jim Steggy and I met in this very chamber with city manager Charles Rowe at the time. Forgive me if I reflect notes on he's absolutely right. And shared our concerns about the planned demolition of the historic school. And also shared the vision that we all have embraced for the preservation and repurposing that school. I want to quote, directly quote from my meeting notes taken at the time. Quote, after our pitch, Charles responded by saying that we would be very pleased to know that in the recent city strategic planning session, that the matter of taking ownership of the Miller Intermediate School campus was moved to the top of the list. Charles expressed that he shared the vision of Miller Intermediate School as the cornerstone of downtown redevelopment, including social services and city offices.
Sorry. I'm trying to see it being broadcast on YouTube.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Charles also relayed that he and Mayor Myers had planted that seed with Mr. Bowling, who's the associate superintendent, when they were on site on October 13th, 2021. The gist of all that conversation with the city manager was how essential a public-private partnership would be, and that government leadership would be required to accomplish the vision. So, wonderful thing, wonderful meeting. I reviewed some emails and, glowing, between Jim and I, glowing comments about Charles, and we have commonality of interest. And away we go. Mr. Steggy and I concluded the meeting by outlining the many personal and professional resources and contacts that the Historical Society could lend. We may point out Mr. Steggy was an architect and had spent his entire career building and designing schools around the state. And he had particular interest in historic preservation architecture. And again, reinforced with him in this closing a sincere offer to enter into a partnership and to support the city in any way possible. Both Mr. Steggy and I sent follow-up emails to the city manager, and there was no response, none. And then something very curious occurred afterwards. Nothing. So, excuse me, sip of water. On January 17th, 4 months after that meeting, Mr. Steggy, Cherie Register, and I met with the mayor at the Historical Society Archives building down at the school. And this was intended as a follow-up to the city manager meeting. Keeping in mind after which there had been zero action, no communication about the stated strategic vision of the city to redevelop the school property for public use. Now, at that meeting with the mayor, we discussed that vision for preservation, repurposing of the school as a catalyst for downtown redevelopment, and emphasize that absolute requirement for government to provide the necessary leadership role with substantial support of the community. I can specifically recall saying this cannot succeed by a little nonprofit historical society trying to take the lead on this. Yet, certainly, it can be done together in a public and private partnership. That was a simple and straightforward message. Government must take the lead, it'll require that partnership. And we parted on very friendly terms. The mayor very strongly agreed with all that. Then, until the Blue Ribbon Committee was chartered in 2024, nothing of substance was accomplished by the government. Now, the folks in the Historical Society and others in the community persisted, and a lot was accomplished. Recall the initial for us was, please don't bulldoze the school. The school, for various reasons, eventually decided that that was a lousy idea and let's build it elsewhere. Okay, first step accomplished. Not going to detail everything that happened over 2 years. There was a lot of water under the bridge. Many of us are aware of that. But the important thing to remember is during those 2+ years against something curious happened. Nothing of substance was accomplished by this government to realize their stated strategic vision for redevelopment of the school property for public use. I think I've heard consensus from this group that the vision for the school cannot be realized without a robust commitment from government. That's as true today as it was January 2022. Now, the Blue Ribbon Committee was chartered last spring, and in that charter, I'll make a quote part of it. All participating members should be enthusiastic and fully committed, and you certainly have been, without reservation, committed to the goals of the city in acquiring the Miller Middle School property for public and other uses and in achieving adaptive reuse of the historic and potentially historic buildings on site. Room for hope. Implicit in that is that there would be an equal enthusiasm and commitment from government. You persisted and accomplished wonderful work. Last night was certainly disappointing. It sounded to me as if the BRC's charge is now to stand on the corner with it, shaking a tin cup. And as if that's going to accomplish anything. It requires a public and private partnership. Today, as it was 5 years ago, this will be a monumental task. Commissioner Laurie last night said it's not going to happen next year or the year after. This, because of time constraints, money constraints, and the utter complexity of it, is going to unfold over a course of years. requires tremendous commitment. So what next? For what it's worth, here's my observation. I'm given to cut out little quotes and that kind of thing, and I carry them around, and I find them if I find something particularly incisive or inspiring, and I try to remember it. The one that I've carried around for years is that leaders must figure out the big ideas, communicate them clearly, work relentlessly to implement them and to refine, adapt, and augment them as circumstances may require. That's where we are today. My recommendation is over the next 10 days, reflect on where we are, what occurred last night, what might be done to accomplish the very, very worthy and very achievable vision for that school. And then I have every confidence that an answer will be found. But please, please, please persist, and thank you for all the hard work you've done. This is in service to our community, and thank you. I just can't thank you enough. Thanks for your indulgence. I've taken way too much time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I also would like to make a statement that our annual expenses of this committee are minor. They're a very small amount. The impact on the coming budget, it really wouldn't impact at all. So, and that needs to be stated, because it's not a position for denying the continuing of this committee. And I wish the city well in their budget process. I know with the leadership that it will. And in any government or business, when there are lean times, you make the proper adjustments to your expenses, you seek growth in revenue, and you move on. And then at the good times, then you raise to adjust, and it's a normal process. Not really painful. It's a necessity for the benefit of all. Well, that's all I have to say. Anyone else?
I just one other thing that I wanted, and I felt really upset last night about it, is there was this sense of there's an us versus them. And I don't know why that would ever occur, because this isn't a team thing. It isn't, if we win, you lose, or you lose, we win. We've always stated, and I've always felt that we were here doing this for the city. This was not a personal project for me or for anybody here. This was, we wanted this done to help the city, and we saw it as a worthwhile project. And last night I kept hearing people say things like, the BRC should go do this. And I mean, we were formed to be part of the city and be an advisory committee, and to help the city commission with all the legwork we had done. And we did what we were supposed to do. I don't know why it was like that. It was a tribal thing, or some sort of.
Or if they were questions, Commissioner, why they didn't attend one of our meetings,
Right.
and have a good discussion with us.
Yeah,
Or bring any concerns to us.
I just wanted to say that, because I felt when I went home last night and kept thinking about stuff, I felt like it was like someone won and we lost. I'm like, no, really honestly, we all lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was something that's for the future of our city. Something that could be a long-term.
Unity from all is strength.
May I add something?
Every member of the committee had one goal in mind, and that was for the city to thrive. That's all they wanted, and that's all they continue to want. And, it's a matter of when something starts to happen in the city. Economically, it's on the threshold of great things happening. We don't know if it's gonna happen next year or 5 years from now, but it will happen. And the ideal situation would be for the commercial property to be on the tax rolls.
Yes.
You know, the property that's on the main drag. And this school property, those 12 acres, to be put to the best of use. And I know in my heart of hearts, that's gonna happen. I may not live long enough to see it, but I think I will. And I think it'll be within the next few years. I'm very optimistic about the city, about what can happen, will happen, and is going to happen. And I'll be at these meetings, even though I'm hearing 60% on one side and 40% on the other, I will be here.
That's up to us.
As its cheerleader, and it is, as its, a little bit of wisdom if I can lend it. So that's where I am.
We appreciate your wisdom, I do.
And with that, John, I know you have many years more.
Now, I pray not too many more.
We need you, John. Here.
Yes, sir, I wanted to add, last night, was a vote, and it was just a vote. But if you listen, to what they were saying, and I've been here now almost 2 months with you all going through these meetings, it's not dead. The committee itself and the charge that you were given and the money that was spent for the reports was part of, what you were, delegated to do. And it was done, and it was done very well, and you were able to give the city and the commission, the recommendations and give them the numbers and show them what could be done. The decision last night, I just want you all to take away, and this is my opinion, of course, and you can go back and look at the meeting, but the decision last night was not a cease and desist. It was just a changing. It's all timing, right? It's you guys still have your entity, you're still the community, part of the community. I don't think that the commission is closed off to hearing things in the future. I believe 2 or 3 of the commissioners last night said, please come back to us if you find something. I just want to take this time to tell you that I do believe in your cause. I just think the timing is off. As someone who has been digging deep into the budget, I think that was a really a big piece of that equation last night, and thinking about how the city can move forward. And I think it's been weighing on a lot of the commissioners' minds is it goes back to the money all the time. You hear about the money. I believe you guys made a case on how that could be done with selling the properties and moving things, but there are so many gray areas in there that are unknowns. And when you have unknowns, it's scary in government, because you answer to the people, and people don't want unknowns, they want facts, they want what is it gonna be. I just wanna say that in my administration here, my office is always open to you all as individuals or you all as a group. This chamber is always open and available for you all to meet as a group, and there's no problem with that as well. And if I can help out in any way, communicating with any entities for the sake of that property, I'm available to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it.
Good statement.
Well, with that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Second.
Great. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sweetie.
You better put this in my-
I'm gonna invite her.